This episode gave me the reality tease I needed, okay? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, #Movie Bae. I am Movie Bae, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing and recapping episode 3 and 4 of Netflix's The Circle. Now let's get into it. If you are new to my YouTube channel, hi, welcome. Here on Movie Bae, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television, so be sure you drop down and hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more videos just like this. Episode 3 begins with the message left from Brian. You know Brian was the last person, or the first person, eliminated from last episode. He sent a video message to the group stating that they all have more things in common than they have differences. Whether you're playing yourself or being a catfish, stay true to what's in here. Beautiful message from Brian. Beautiful message. You will be missed with your fine ass. After the video message, The Circle has a group chat. In that group chat, River, who was very much so affected by Brian's elimination, asked the influencers how did they feel about the decision that they made. Savannah stated that she was heartbroken. And T stated that she definitely did not want to see Brian go home. River nor T are feeling Savannah's response. Now, unless it's editing, we didn't see T really fight for Brian last episode. I felt like after the conversation that her and him had, that he and her had, I don't know grammar, the conversation that they had amongst them two, you would think that T would want to really go for a bat more so for Brian, but they didn't show that in the episode. So the fact that she herself is like, I really didn't want to see him leave, it was like, but you didn't really fight for him to stay either. So both of y'all in the wrong, both of y'all being fake. Just like myself, the other members of the circle are just as confused. They're trying to read between the lines of what each influencer is saying because Savannah is heartbroken and T didn't want to see him go. So it's like, so how the hell is he gone? Somebody's lying. There is a new member of the circle, Lance Bass from NSYNC. Just kidding. Of course it's catfish. Playing Lance will be Lisa, a 42-year-old personal assistant to Lance Bass. Her strategy is to know everything and anything about Lance because she's his personal assistant, so she will know that anyways. And I think she just really wanted to be on a competition show. She doesn't really have a valuable reason of being here. Not that I recall anyways. The fact that these kids real life don't know who NSYNC was had me like, damn, am I getting old? Because like, ba 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 ba, if you really wanna know what, I just wanna tell you that I had enough. You may hate me, but it's not gonna get copyrighted. After Lance, Lisa makes her way to the group chat. My girl T asked the question that we all should be asking. Since you're famous, what is your need of being on the circle? And if you were to win, would you donate the money? This is where Lisa could come with the strategy. I feel like she's not here to play the game. Lisa says that if she won the 100th Thou Wow, she is going to start a reunion tour for NSYNC. First of all, the money between all members of NSYNC, y'all have enough money to start a tour. Secondly, you're not thinking like Lance, you're thinking like you, or you're thinking like a fan. So if I was in the circle, I would be like, this is catfish. This sounds just like a Lance Bass fan. Only a fan would give the response of starting a reunion tour. Before B2K came on Love and Hip Hop, I would be that fangirl that's like, I want a reunion. But then when they had the reunion, I couldn't go because, you know, some things came up. But anyhow, I would have immediately thought that Lance was catfish. This group isn't really good at spotting catfish, or maybe they just really don't care and everybody just worried about their own strategy at this point. The individual chats for this episode, Emily messages Trevor. Now, both of these characters are catfish. Emily contacts Trevor trying to start small talk, getting to know each other, and she mentions sports. And Trevor, who's being played by his wife, is like, who the hell is Saquon? Say who? Luckily, her husband left her some good notes. Like, good job. They really did their homework before coming. River also is fangirling over Lance Bass, so he decides to message him individually. And River drops all the tea. He says about who was the influencers, who voted for who. He gave Lance all the information he needed to know about what was going on in the circle. In this episode, Savannah messages Courtney privately. She tells Courtney how T was trying to send him home. Now, unless it was editing, sis did not say she thought you were a big threat. She thought you were competition, you know, be flattered. She literally threw T under the bus and was like, she wanted to send you home. If it wasn't for me, you would be gone. I had to fight for you. And with a lack of information being provided, Courtney is now like, oh, bump T. Like, I have to get her out now. Because it just seems like that she was hating on him for no reason versus saying, oh, he's major competition because he's so likable. And finally, T reaches out to her girl gang alliance, Chloe and Emily. She basically tells the girls that she doesn't think Savannah is really girl gang because she tried to send Chloe home, not once, but twice. She had the chance to save her and she did not. And then while they were trying to decide who to block, like, I like Chloe. Her personality for TV is great, okay? But this has Chloe like, oh, for real? Big bit. And the girls decided that they were going to keep their girl gang alliance going, just be honest and keep it real with each other, and being sure that they save each other at all costs. This alliance is so flimsy. The thing about having a girl alliance is, numbers-wise, it will always be good. But girls are so, I don't want to say this, but so emotional. Instead of playing strategically, we will play with our feelings and our emotions. So it's like, oh, she's talking about me behind my back, block. When it's like, no, you need her, you need the numbers. You need the numbers. The game of this episode is Truth or Dare, and this is where all the drama begins. So River gets the question, truth or dare? He says, true. His question is, who do you think is going to be the next influencer? He says that Emily will be the next influencer. It is a little bit strategic. Basically chose Emily to keep her in his circle to, you know how you got those friends that you don't talk to in a while, but you hit them up every once in a while, like, hey, how you doing? Just to, let them know that we still cool. That was his reasoning for saying that Emily will be the next influencer. Next is Courtney. Truth or dare? Strategically, he chooses dare to be safe and not have to spill a lot of tea. He has to put on as many clothes as he can in 2 minutes. Boring. Next up is Emily, and she gets dare. The dare is to send an emoji to your BFF in the circle. Emily obviously chooses Chloe, which is, I feel like it's honest. It is the person she talks to. Chloe is the person she talks to the most. However, there's a lot of bad things that could come from this admittance. One, everybody already feels like, oh, y'all best friends forever. Y'all have some sort of alliance. So if I'm working with one of y'all, I'm working with 2 of y'all. And that could be good in terms of numbers. But if I'm beefing with one of y'all, that means I'm beefing with 2 of y'all. So that could be the downfall in the numbers. And this also bothers T. She says it doesn't, but girl, we know it do. Because when it comes down to the hashtag Girl Gang Alliance, you are the leader of, but also the bottom of that alliance. Those two will choose each other before they choose you. And it's never good to be the back end of an alliance because that means you are the first to go from that alliance. Next up is Taralisha. Truth or dare? We all know my Triple D sis said truth because that's what we do. We keep it real, period, okay? And her question is, who do you think is the biggest game player in the circle? Without hesitation, we all know she chooses Savannah. Now, where's the lie? Where's the lie? I think Savannah is doing the best. Was doing the best. She had a strategy. She spoke to everybody. She was playing the game correctly. If you go back to season 1, the person who won, Joey, I think his name was, I didn't think he was going to win until maybe when all the new people started coming. Joey made it a point to talk to everybody in the circle. This is how you win the circle, okay? You don't have to like everybody, you don't have to get along with everybody, but if you have some sort of positive lasting impression in everybody's mind, you ultimately will win. Because if it comes down to somebody they haven't talked to versus someone they talked to a little bit, I'm always going to choose the person who I've talked to a little bit over the person who ain't even made an attempt to get to know me. And that is how I feel Savannah is playing the game. But because this is said amongst the group in its entirety, everybody now looks at Savannah like she must be gaming, she must be lying. She must be out trying to out-strategizing me. Matter of fact, I would have been like, thank you. Thank you, number one. Because T was the number one influencer. So I was like, thank you, number one. That says a lot without saying a little. Like, yeah, I'm up there, but you're above me. Obviously, because production, Savannah's turn to go next. And she gets truth or dare. Savannah, remember her intro, she ain't scared to check a bitch in the nicest way possible? Well, that nicest way possible kind of went out the window. Savannah gets the question, who do you trust the least in the circle? And then we get left with a cliffhanger, but we all know who she's gonna say. Episode 4. The episode resumes with Savannah obviously stating that T is the person that she trusts the least in the circle. She says that Taralisha will act like she likes you to get the spot of the influencer, but when it comes down to it, she will not save you. Now this kind of divides everybody in half. Savannah says, if it wasn't for me, some of you all wouldn't be here. And T says the same. If it wasn't for me, some of y'all would be here. Now, if you're in the circle, that makes sense because that means she has a group of people that she's connected with, that she's fighting for, and Taralisha has a group of people that she's connected with, that she's fighting for. So that makes sense that they would not see eye to eye on everybody. They go back and forth calling each other snakes and hashtag this and hashtag that. Savannah, sis, you can't win an argument with hashtag. I can't even take you seriously. I would not take a bitch seriously if she's like, you won't do this and you won't do that. Hashtag, you're lying. Hashtag, be blessed. Hashtag, bitch. Hashtag, shut the fuck up. Please stop with the hashtags. They go back and forth. Taralisha's just like, pathetic. You said the most to try to make me look bad. Cause me, baby, I don't do this internet beefing shit if we want to be 100. But Savannah is just like going and going and going and going. And the more she talks, the more she, in my eyes, digs herself in a hole. Cause yes, you keeping it real, but you also not keeping the peace. This is a popularity contest, sis. Not everybody is going to be on board with those rah-rah tactics. You need to say the most without doing the most. And she said and did the most. So, Savannah, you played that wrong, sis. I feel like the passive-aggressive strategy would have been best for this. Like I said, I would have said thank you. Thank you, number one. Because Taralisha was the number one. You can say it without saying it. And of course, because the circle is full of drama and they want to stir the pot and walk away and let it cool, the truth of their game ends. Let's talk numbers. After that, Trevor and Courtney are team Savannah, and Emily, Chloe, and River are team Taralisha. So numbers wise, who's winning? Who's winning? Private chats for this episode. Savannah and Trevor message each other. They just grow each other's bond, and Trevor confirms that he is team Savannah. T tries to reach out to Courtney. Because Courtney already has an opinion formed about Taralisha, he's over the conversation. He doesn't want to hear anything Taralisha has to say, but he states that he's going to remain cordial for the sake of being strategic. This is where Taralisha went wrong. She should have reached out to Courtney initially. Day one, like I said, you got to talk to everybody. Because by the time you reach out to talk to somebody, it's seeming like your motives is just to stay in the game, just to clear your name, versus genuinely trying to get to know that person. And his mind has already been corrupted by the time you reached out to him. If you already had some form of relationship with him, it would have been more genuine when you reached out to him. Y'all gotta think about things. Y'all gotta think about things. Now, in this conversation with Courtney, Taralisha was honest. She gave a very political correct answer. She stated that she didn't get a chance to know Courtney, which is true, which is why she didn't have anything to fight for on his behalf, which is true. Why Courtney was upset with this answer, I don't understand, because y'all hadn't talked. So if I don't know you, why would I go to bat for you to stay here? He halfway believes what she's saying, because I feel like he's a smart guy. That makes sense. You don't know me, so why would you say me? Savannah sends a private chat to Emily and Chloe to try to clear her name or to clear things up. Emily remains impartial throughout the entire conversation, which is a bad move, Emily, because it's making Chloe think that you not really down to ride. So Chloe decides to go on the same train as Emily and say, yeah, girl, we got your back. We believe you. Girl gang. If I was Emily, I would have messaged Chloe right after and been like, LOL, I'm a fake ass bitch. Fuck that bitch. Like, if Emily was a girl, I feel like that's how that would have happened. But because she's being played by a guy, he wants to remain impartial. Guys really just don't be into girl drama like that. So he don't have that extra keen to be like, girl, fuck that bitch. I was just talking that shit. We eliminated her ass first chance we get. But yeah, the girls lie and say that they trust Savannah and that they got her back. Let's go to the rankings. Since Lance is new, he can vote, but he cannot be sent home. Emily puts Chloe in her #1 position and vice versa. Emily has Savannah in 4th place. Savannah puts Emily in 5th place because she's a fake ass bitch. Courtney puts T in last place because at least he is a real ass bitch and stuck to his not liking Taralisha. And River puts Savannah in last place because River is River in the Texas Alliance. Okay, River is true. That's one thing he is. It's time for the ratings. In 7th place was a heart-blowing Taralisha. How did my girl come in 7th place? I have no idea, because she has the numbers. Probably because Courtney and I'm sure Savannah ranked her at the bottom of the totem pole. Oh, and Trevor. 6th place, right above Taralisha, is Savannah. Now this is not foreign. In the first season, the first 2 people who were influencers were also at the bottom of the influencer list the following episode, one of which of them went home. So I feel like that's just kind of formulaic. People know that they were top last week, so we need to go ahead and dock them on down. Drama aside, I feel like it was going to happen that way regardless. 5th place is Courtney. 4th place is River. 3rd, again, is Trevor. 2nd is Emily. And 1st place is Chloe. And Chloe is surprised and ecstatic. And River might be psychic because he called that Emily would be the next influencer. In this episode, they don't have time for people to kiss ass. They go straight to the hangout to block people. And during this meeting, Emily realizes that Chloe has a lot of pull in this game. Chloe has literally touched and talked to but she has got her hands dirty with everyone in the game. She has some type of relationship budding with every person in this game. And that is mentioned when she's trying to save people or speaking on these people, that a lot of those people Emily hasn't even spoke to. After saving people and deciding who not to block, it comes down to the final 2. Savannah and Taralisha. And the house is divided. So in order to resume peace, they know they have to send one of these girls home. Now, Chloe is thinking very strategically. Like, I applaud her for this. She said that they don't know how many alliances each girl has in the house. And if they eliminate the wrong one, that could be detrimental for them in the end. Chloe, smart girl. I didn't even think about it like that, sis. The screen cuts to Taralisha's room. Taralisha decides to open a private chat with Savannah. I didn't know they could open private chats while deliberation is happening, but obviously production. Taralisha tries to extend an olive branch and see where the conversation went wrong with Savannah. Basically, they talked in circles and nothing got solved. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm so much like Taralisha. It's like, I'll reach out and be like, okay, look, I feel like it was miscommunication. Like, what happened? And as soon as things start going awry and we back to square one, it's like, oh, well, fuck it. I don't want to talk about it no more. Like, we not getting nowhere. So, like, okay, leave this conversation. What else is there to talk about if we just gonna keep saying the same thing? The beef between Savannah and Taralisha, it really is just miscommunication, because you don't know what conversations are being had between what people. And of course, it's a game, so you don't know if people are being genuine or strategic. Now, Savannah keeps claiming that who did she lie about? You know, who did she snake out? Because Chloe is still here. And that is true. Chloe is still here. However, sis, you did go against your word twice and try to send her home. You didn't save her with the initial save, which goes against the Girl Gang Alliance. And then in the hangout where y'all were deciding who to block, you tried to insinuate her leaving again to a person who was unaware that y'all had like a frenemies relationship. So you have to clue people in without cluing them in, especially if you are in an alliance. You have to have good communication with these people. Long story short, they decided to block Savannah because they want to relieve the tension in the house, and then obviously it's hashtag girl gang, so duh. I knew that Savannah would be going home. It seems like a majority of the cast is upset about Savannah's departure. I have no idea why. Because they say that T came for Savannah, so she had no choice but to retaliate. T didn't come for Savannah. It was a truth or dare question, and she answered it. Like, y'all, they act like she was just random group message. Savannah is a fake ass bitch. Like, that's not how it went. I feel like the decision to block Savannah was right because thinking strategically, the numbers, baby. Let's talk about numbers. Savannah had Trevor and Courtney. Savannah's now gone. And Trevor and Courtney have no bond. So that little circle is gone. It's diminished now. Trevor is cool with Chloe, and Emily comes with Chloe. So both of them are safe if Trevor is the next influencer because he's been riding at number 3, so he might be the next influencer on the list, okay? Courtney is working on building bonds with other people, but they just aren't as strong as they were with Savannah. So if he wants to stay in the game, he's going to have to talk to more people because at this point he has no numbers on his side except for Chloe. Chloe might save him when it comes down to it. Of course, before Savannah leaves the circle, she gets to see one person. Because there's so much drama, production decides to throw a wrench in the game rules, and instead of going to see whoever you want, you have to go see who you think deserves to win. Y'all all know that was production. Because if she would have came to my room, baby, she wouldn't have. Not after talking all that hot shit, you knew she wasn't gonna come to, the tea room. She not as real as she think. I tell y'all, this was the most anticipated go see moment that I was waiting on, aside from I think it was Alana in season 1 with Sammy. I was like really anticipating this because I'm like, they gonna throw hands. This conversation is not gonna get solved. But production decided to cut all the drama, all the Bad Girls Club drama, and change the rules and say, go see who you think deserves to win. She chooses Courtney. Now in this meeting, Savannah was really dropping gems. Savannah really blessed Courtney with a lot of information. She tells Courtney about the all-girl alliance, the hashtag girl gang with Emily, Chloe, and Taralisha. She advises him to remain cordial with Taralisha for the sake of being strategic. Of Taralisha and Emily, she advises him to send home Emily the next chance he gets because Emily is playing the game. She stated that she would save her, and clearly she did not. At the end of the episode, Courtney gets this privilege to go into the inner circle, whatever the hell that is. And I don't like how this is looking. I don't like how this is looking because it seems like he's going to have some type of power, and I don't want my girl T to go home. My thoughts about the show, the inner circle. I think the inner circle, he is going to have a chance to either be immune or go through people's private group chat messages. I think that would be a wonderful privilege because you get insight on what everybody's thinking and what everybody's talking about. I really didn't care for Savannah, but I do applaud her for being a good game player. When she came to Courtney's room, like I said, she dropped a lot of gems. And you just really get an insight that Savannah really was taking notes, and she did not spare anything before she left. She decided to pass all her wisdom on to the next person. In regards to the trailer for next week, the new guy, I wrote this in my notes. The new guy is hot, H-O-T. two T's. Courtney will obviously get to use his newfound power in order to weed out the snakes in the garden because he likes metaphors. And 2 players will be blocked in the next rankings. Woo! So, my predictions, I think my girl Taralisha isn't going to make it. And just based off of the sneak peek for next week, Emily might be a little worried as well. Even though I think Lance should go home. Why is Lance still there? Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel, #MovieBae. Be sure you drop down and leave a comment. What was your thoughts about this episode? Were you team Taralisha? Are you team Savannah? And was the right choice made strategically? Be sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. It's a date.